No, but not
And
these
you don't
characters.
need to know pronunciations.
My Japanese class, though, didn't go nearly as fast as this one. It was like 2 characters a week, and I'm like, okay, cool. Can we, like, move on? Joy said that she's going to watch the live stream.
What live stream?
The physics live stream I'm doing right now. Why?
Don't do that.
We need physics class. Yes. Just ask Feynman. I'm feeling pretty fine, man. Let's see if she really is watching. Did you tell her the channel name?
No. She knows it.
She remembers it? I thought she forgot. It's not working. This works less than my deadbeat uncle. It's not working. Okay, I can't tell. I hate that song.
I cannot do I got 6 different answers.
No one's watching. We have 3 subscribers?
Who are they? Joey probably.
I can't tell.
You're half of the cast.
I don't think she's watching right now.
The guy didn't know where the boxing He was just holding it up.
I could never reach that skill level.
He deserves that iPhone. I wouldn't even be mad, bro. I'd be like,
Really? Remember that. Remember you said that.
like I would still arrest him, but I wouldn't be mad about it. I'd be like, yo, that's like still really illegal, but like, we're cool.
It's heckin' cool.
Oh, yeah, look. This is kind of cool.
If you move, I will crush you in the way that every word of. That's me.
Actually, that's this game.
What is he writing?
Here. Are you happy?
No.
Are you eating?
No.
Don't kick me.
Don't tell me what to do. You're not my mom. You can't beat me. I don't think Joy's here. I think she lied. Oh, let's see if there's anything new on Newgrounds. Oh my gosh, already in episode 2 today? Ooh, but this is jazz. Ooh, this looks interesting. I don't get it. Is this a reference to something I should know?
Okay. If I can have everyone's attention.
missing 2. Okay, so instead of giving you like a big long list of due dates, I kind of made a calendar, just in my mind, that kind of spread it out. So we have that work energy simulation lab due tonight, yes?
But it says the 15th.
So don't forget, I didn't want it, guys, I didn't want to bury that in the extended because it'd be pretty easy to forget about it. So remember that. And then when you come back, here's the hard thing. I won't see you guys till a week from today. All right. So the work energy quest is due when you get back on Tuesday. There's I put up an optional review on momentum quest. You can do that. It's not going to be graded. I have that to shut off Wednesday and I-Day next week. And then I'm looking at the schedule, and I think we have the time to do our retake in class on Thursday. Would people prefer that to like doing it after school? All right. So we'll go ahead. We'll do that one in class. The Conservation of Energy Lab, that's the dropping the medicine ball one, would be due that night. The Conservation of Energy Quest would be due Friday night. Your Momentum Lab redos would be on Saturday. And then the week after, we're back to our regular schedule. So we've got a work day here to kind of tie up loose ends. And then we'll have our energy test on the 26th. So, it basically comes down to either a test or a retake just about every week. And then the review for energy. Now, that's not optional. Everything you have to turn in here is in orange. Everything you have to do is green. I just used black for the one that was optional. Did it help to kind of do that graphically instead of being a list? It kind of helps me. Everything's due at 11. Question? Sorry? Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, you don't have to run up there right now, but I'll leave it up. I'm not going to erase that. And you just can wander up there. All right, other administrative questions? All right, let's talk energy. Now, the last we talked, you guys, did you find energy useful to solve those like free fall problems to get speeds and stuff? 40 meters per second at the bottom of 80 meters instead of literally kinematics? I find it a lot easier. I thought some of you, Josh, you liked it? Okay. Most of you indifferent, it's just another way, oh well. Okay. All right. Well, let's see if we can kind of push it here and just see how useful energy is. But last time we were saying we have 2 formulas, two that we're going to evaluate numerically. Kinetic energy and gravitational potential. And we said this is 1/2 mv squared. This is mgh. So this, what's that? Check it again. Yeah, I was going to blame you guys. All right. Okay, so the nice thing about, do I need to have screens down for a second? Screens down for a second. The nice thing about potential energy, at least gravitational, is it's nice and linear in the vicinity of Earth's surface. Kinetic energy is going as velocity. So we said if you were doing a lot of start and stop driving, throwing away that kinetic energy, it was quite a bit more expensive, as it were, to drive fast. If you go twice as fast, you invest in your car 4 times the energy, and then you stop and you throw it all away. Now, from a safety standpoint, what do you think also becomes harder when you're going twice as fast? Talk to each other.
Changing direction.
I know. Like, dude, we got
What?
nothing.
So if you have your car, typically like an SUV, you're like 2,000 foot. So let's say you're going 20 meters per second, 40 miles an hour, give or take. And you instead want to go twice as fast. You have to invest 4 times the energy. Okay, so that's maybe wasteful. But from a safety standpoint, what's the other issue? If you're going 80 instead, or sorry, if you're going 40 instead of 20. Okay, longer distance to stop. Is it linear, twice as fast, twice as far? Solution.
4 times.
4 times.
Then you have to take it back out.
Okay. So stopping distance is a real issue then. Let's try to figure that out. So let's say we get our slower speed, our 20, we're going, and our car is 2,000 kilograms. How much kinetic energy would that be? 400,000. Here's 4, square that, you got 400. And then you've got 1/2 times 1,000, 400,000. And what do we say? Well, there is a name associated with this. Joules. Exactly, joules. So that would have been a kilogram meter squared per second squared. It is a joule. Okay, so now let's say we dissipate that in a distance, like we hit the brakes, and we're going to dissipate, we're going to get rid of all 400,000 joules, and let's say we can do that in 50 meters. Okay? What was the braking force of our car? How much force, presumably through friction, did we generate in order to stop that car in 50 meters? So here we go, work. Force through distance gives us a change in energy. In this case, we take our 400,000 and we throw it all away. 0, our final, minus our initial 400,000. So we've got negative 400,000 that we dissipate. And let's say we do it over 50 meters. How much force is required? Vincent?
Negative 8,000.
Negative 8,000, he says. Is he right? Because if we did it over 100 meters, that would have been 800,000, twice as much to do it over 50 meters. And so again, a joule could have been a kilogram meter squared per second squared. It's also a Newton meter. All right. What is this? What is the negative sign? Would you rather be hit with negative force or positive force? If we hit you upside the head, what, like 8,000, you want to be plus or minus? Yeah, whether you hit from the left or the right.
But if you're going straight, then you actually need it.
All right, what it means is it was the opposite direction that we were moving. If we were moving to the right, if our velocity was to the right, our braking force must be to the left. Okay. We did negative work. We extracted energy from our system. Okay, so let's check Lucian's idea. Let's say you now go 40 meters per second. And he says it's going to take you 4 times as long to stop. Let's verify that. Go ahead, do do the calculation. Remember, our brakes aren't any better or worse. They're the same. We stamp on them. We get 8,000 newtons of force in the rearward direction. How far should our car go before its kinetic energy is completely disappointed?
Doing the same thing, but finding out the kinetic energy with the 40 meters per second. So
we're going twice as fast. How, if our brakes aren't any better than they were the first time when we stamped on them, maybe they're even a little worse as they heat up, but let's say they can do exactly the same. Minus 8,000 newtons. How far does it go before we dissipate through negative work all the energy that we put into our car?
they're on the board. I got 200.
What do you get, Grant? So, Lucian was right. You didn't correct. Is everybody getting 200 meters?
Yep.
Anybody not? Anybody not sure how to get there? Theo, can you put it in a question? How far did you get? What step did you get stuck at? Sorry? So you did the kinetic energy, forget it? You got 1,600,000? Okay. And that's just the last one. So let's do it. Our KE is 1,600,000. Okay, so this is what we have. We have energy. It is plus. We have to get rid of it. So now our numbers look like this. And our braking force is the same, and so we just need to know what is this new distance for the fast speed. So we're going to take our 1,600,000, we're going to divide it by 8. So that is 2. 16 divided by 8 is 2. And then we've got 5 zeros divided by 3 zeros, so I'm left with 2 more zeros. Does that make sense, Theo?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. Everybody been to Great America? Yeah. Everybody enjoy roller coasters? You've experienced them? Yes. Okay. So let's, and interestingly, about 3-4 years ago, it got really popular in SIR to do roller coaster design for whatever reason. So let's put on our roller coaster design hats for a moment, and you tell me what would be possible in terms of the design. All right. Now, just from a practical standpoint, we know there's friction. So let's say we're opening a new and he's going to park on the moon, so no air resistance. And it's all magnetically levitated, so there's like almost no friction. We can say this is really
dangerous.
Perfect.
They don't have comfort block.
Sorry? This is the track, and there's no friction at all. So whether you're above or hanging below, you're small compared to the rise and fall of the track. I'm asking, is this possible? If this is the start, and this is the finish, can we do this? Talk to each other for a second.
I think you're going to be able to get, especially in the small one, before the giant one, it's going to be really hard to get enough speed to actually go up that, unless you have like some sort of like pulling track.
But you don't, because you're a failure.
It's magnetic. You're just not going to be able to get any speed. But how strong is gravity?
It's the moon.
So is that like hella strong or not?
They scream with joy.
They're screaming with something. They're screaming at the terrible design.
Oh, when
They're screaming at the guy who designed it.
I was in the tilt for a while with a friend who started the business practice.
So the total is down.
Yeah. All right. So what do you guys think? Can we do this?
Nah.
Can you tell us why in terms of this unit?
So at the beginning of the ride, it has a certain amount of potential energy.
Okay. So if we want to, for fun, use, if this is the ground, so we have a certain amount of PE based on how high we're starting.
Yes.
All right. And a traditional one, you're kind of pulled up by like a cog wheel system. You get to the top and you're moving it just so barely, right? So we could estimate the kinetic as essentially zero. We're going to be essentially zero. Now, what is the issue? Is this okay?
Yeah.
So we've converted some of our PE to significant KE, and then down here we have just a little bit of PE because small height and a lot. So we're really moving right here. But where do we encounter a problem?
When you're going up that hill, you lose a lot of the kinetic energy. And then,
Again, in principle now, again, if there's no friction, how far do we get before we would stop? Where there are no losses, perfect conservation of mechanical energy between gravitational PE and kinetic. Okay. So let's look for when we get back to the same amount of PE that we started. So we might, if we measured right, we just might barely creep over this.
yeah.
But here's our problem. Here's where we come to a dead stop, and then we start our way back. Get a longer ride. We go back.
Yes.
Hope there's not another car.
Oh my god.
Could we ultimately, if this track was built and this money spent, and the Moon Amusement Company doesn't want to go bankrupt, but wants to maybe modify this, other than changing the track height, other than taking away that big hill, is there something else you could do to this ride that would make it work? Talk to your table rats for a moment.
You could like take out that little curve, I guess.
You can't take anything out, he said.
I thought it came out like adjust the height as like the starting point.
I think what he means is like the beginning thing, make it higher.
Or like you said you can do that.
You said you can't take things away, but you can't add either.
No, you said you couldn't change the height. You didn't say you couldn't take away. Wait, what did you say?
Okay, what could be done?
Oh yeah, just like
Add a rocket.
All right, we got it.
hire a giant alien to push it.
Okay.
Oh, they just said that.
He's saying here, as the car is slowing down, everybody's got to do their best big bad wolf imitation and start blowing back. I was going to suggest maybe some people bombing backwards.
Oh my god.
Assuming that maybe isn't enough to propel this car forward, what else could be done?
So at the beginning of the ride, or at the top of that hill, you can apply a force to the car.
So let's go to your first idea there. Instead of just barely rolling out of the apparatus, we blast you out. Okay? So there's some sort of steam piston or something. Basically, you get
Give it
launched.
legs.
So now, how would you figure out how fast you need to be launched in order to crest that hill? Okay. So she says the potential plus kinetic here has to equal, let's say now we're just barely moving over the top. So again, we'll take our kinetic to be essentially 0. This now, big PE. If those two add up to this, in theory, we should be able to do it. All right. So, I'll even, there's 2 ways, yes.
Oh my god.
I like the way she thinks. Well, let's get back to that one in a second. We'll take the safer, again, remember, they want to stay in business here. So, yeah. I keep thinking
There's no laws
when
in
I
the
chaperone a field trip or like a science fair like to Japan, if I came back with 90% of the kids, that's still an A, right? All right, so we need to be able to figure, would you like to do this symbolically or should we make up some numbers? I heard numbers. Okay, let's say we start at 100 meters.
No.
And let's say our highest hill is 150 feet. Then, now, here's the question. Do I have to tell you what the mass of that cart and the riders is? No. That's kind of fortunate, right? Because that means they can run the ride with just one person in the cart, or load it up with 6, and they don't have to change the ride. So that is kind of nice. All right, go ahead and tell me what it is. Figure out, with the help of your table mates, what that launch speed is, the minimum.
What were the equations?
Let's see, the equation for kinetic energy is 1/2
It was like
mass.
gravity times the mass times the height or something.
What? Kinetic energy is 1/2
I was talking about potential energy.
mass. You said kinetic. God damn it.
You said kinetic, I said potential. Kinetic was like 1/2
Mass times
something times the velocity squared.
1/2 mass times velocity squared.
Yeah, you could have let me.
There's an airplane on the moon now? Potential energy is mass times gravity times height. What? Well, I don't know the gravity on the
Wait, hold up.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have mass
Yes, I want to know with what
plus,
speed
wait, mass
that
times
cart has to
Gravity.
be launched in order for you to not get stuck.
times 100 plus what was the kinetic energy?
You know what, let's
1/2
keep- let's
mass
keep the
velocity
numbers nice and
squared.
round. Let's use 10 for little g. Let's just round it up. 10 for little g.
So this is gonna be 1,000 times the mass plus. Well, this is 0 right now since they're not really moving, right? Okay. And then it's to be equal to 150.
Oh no, it's not 0, it's k, because we're looking for the variable for how much kinetic energy we'd need.
But like at the start, it's gonna be 0. We
No,
want it
because we're pushing it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. 150 plus.
0. Or no,
I don't think it's
times.
150. This is times the mass, I guess.
Figure it out all the way
10.
like it
Okay, plus 1/2 some random mass
Yes.
times
But that one is 0, he said so. Because look, it's just potential energy.
wait.
I want you to look at the board, and because that's what he said.
We'll put that to the class.
500
Okay.
equals
All right.
the kinetic
So, what is
I
that
think so.
launch speed? Nobody has it?
Is it 10?
Yeah. 31 sounds like the square root of 1,000 maybe, yes.
Oh, I didn't know it's good.
No, you're supposed to say like this. It is. All right. Did everybody get that? Anybody struggling to understand that?
Struggling.
You, did you get it?
Yeah.
All right. Kennedy, you got it? All right, cool. Now, Emily, in her first job after INSA, she took a year off. She is a photo reporter, photographer. And so she's flying over this because it's just open. Now, how do you fly in the moon with no atmosphere? Maybe it's some sort of a jet. Or it's a rocket plane.
Something else. Okay.
So, and she's not like this blockhead, that's her big old camera that we see. And just as she's clicking that photo, oops.
Oh my god!
When you throw your shit.
Dr. Carlson, I think he needs some
Now
psychotherapy.
that it dumps some of that mass, talk to each other for a second.
It should, if it's applying the same amount of force.
But it's like dropping it, not like throwing it back. I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
Huh? Can't hear you.
What?
See, it's simple.
Yeah.
He keeps killing his students and family
Yeah, I
members.
think he needs to stop. Maybe the roller coaster catches her. Like, maybe it's like perfectly timed so that the roller coaster catches her and she doesn't die.
The cart. But she's going to the giant like
There's like no.
All right, how many saw Roadrunner cartoons as a child? Okay.
Now you're off.
So the coyote's like chasing the Roadrunner off the cliff, and everything's fine until he looks down. Immediately he stops and falls straight down.
That seems logical.
Is that realistic?
Yes. Because perception is reality.
So, if we have our photographer zooming along with the rocket ship, and the photographer falls out, do they fall straight down?
No.
NASA.
So unfortunately for everybody who is thinking, oh, the plane will speed up, she had her share of that kinetic energy, and it didn't get sucked out of her when she stepped through the doorway, all right? So the plane has what the plane had, she has what she had, and it just got partitioned like that. So getting back to the idea to get up the hill by having people fall out of the cars shouldn't work. But, being the inventive person she wasn't, you had an alternate way for them to exit. Instead of falling out, which you can do it, one couldn't. Sorry. They would have to be thrown rearward, right? You'd have to do something basically to take away their kinetic energy or add to, basically by throwing them back, you're doing work on you and the cart to speed it up. So I guess as you forcefully threw people out to the back, you could potentially speed yourself. But falling out won't do the job. All right, you better work on this thing. All right. Want to do realistic roller coaster, and then I'll turn you guys loose to work on what you need to. Now, in this, our ideal one, where would our cart be moving the absolute fastest? Bottom of the biggest drop. The lowest point. So wherever the height was the smallest, The PE would be smallest, and the KE would have to be biggest if we are conserving energy, if we don't have any loss. But I heard some people say at the bottom of the biggest hill. I think what you've done is you've moved on to the practical side where there is friction. So now why, if with this scenario, why now would this be the fastest spot in a real roller coaster where there is friction? Why would this be faster than, say, over here, top of each other for a second?
The friction against you up together would take some of your energy away. Okay? Up and up.
Oh boy, well. Or Phaeton boy, Nathan.
I heard fatal good there, so that's gotta be good.
We both touched on me.
What happened to your calculation?
What was that?
Okay, can somebody explain why in a real roller coaster with air resistance and sliding friction with the track, the fastest point wouldn't be the lowest point, but would be basically at the steepest point? Who can make an argument why that should be based on physics? Anybody want to take a whack at that? What we are using to increase speed, increase kinetic energy, where's it coming from? Sorry? So we're going to convert potential into kinetic. All right. So I started to write here, whenever we decrease, I better put it on negative sign here. Whenever we decrease the potential with, we could, in principle, increase the kinetic. But what do I have to add to this equation to represent reality? So we have to say plus thermal energy, right? So if I drop and give up 100 joules of potential, maybe 75 went into increasing kinetic, but maybe 25 was basically lost to friction. All right, given this, how can we use this to say the steepest point should be the fastest? We should have the biggest here and the least here when it's steep.
That's the point where most of the most potential energy is being converted.
Well, I could compare a drop like this here or another drop of same amount like that. And I'm going to say this will be faster than that, even though they have the same decreasing potential. So why is that? We're going to say that our frictional force depends upon the length. And so by minimizing the length, the amount of contact, the amount of air that was encountered for the same amount of drop means this is getting smaller. It's never zero, but it's the smallest it can be, and this would be the biggest it can be. So we should speed up the most on the steepest. Now that's assuming the friction's uniform, and it's just the length of track that matters. All right, does that make sense? Okay, so the very last thing would be, if I start here at 100 meters, you should be able to tell me back on our moon how fast I would be going when I got to the absolute bottom in the perfect scenario. So we're on the moon, no frictional losses, whatever mechanical energy we have at the start, we have at the finish. I want to know what that finish, that highest speed would be. Now you need to know the mass of the cart? No.
No.
Wait, hold up. What's your total energy? Can you figure this out? Okay. So at the beginning, there has to be how much, right? What?
Are we going by ratios? Or
Like, because I'm thinking if we said,
Because if it's going by ratios, we could just go like 1% potential energy and go by ratio.
We're not going by ratios, we're going by numbers.
I'm looking at the total energy and I'm thinking that like, at the end of it,
At the end,
figure out how much potential energy is lost.
All right, how fast would you be going on your knee ride? You get to the end, the lowest point, the fastest point. Sorry? How's this table do?
We didn't get very far.
well, not yet.
How are you doing? Managing without Bert and Zoe?
How much is it?
Sorry? Still working. One more minute.
Okay, what's the total energy?
From, at what point?
The beginning.
Okay,
Because it's got to be between like at the top of that thing.
we don't know the mass. Gravity
yes.
is 10. The height is...
Is it 100 or 1,000? 1,000 probably.
Or we're doing potential and kinetic, so it's not 1,000.
I know, it's 1,000 plus something.
1/2
The velocity.
mass.
The velocity is 31, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it has to be 15.5 or something. Wait, no, it's not.
I get 2,961 over 2, but that's what it tells me. I don't know. It doesn't show me the decimal.
Hello.
And then, so that's the total.
All right.
0.5 milliliters.
You guys got it?
Oh,
Wayne, you got it? All right.
Not really.
150 times
Doesn't matter where you are, you should always have the same
gravity.
count. But I was going to suggest, oh, were you doing it with the launch speed or just starting?
At the thing at the top, it's 1,500, so...
How do you know it's 1,500?
Because it's potential energy.
I guess I wasn't clear. Are we starting with the launched cart or just the rolling cart? Okay, all right. Gotcha, okay. Otherwise I would never make it.
Okay, wait, what's the thing at the top?
So-
it's like 1.
You could start here with both PE and KE, or you could just start here if you want. It might be an easier calculation.
Yes, please.
Right, the mechanical should be the same everywhere.
At the bottom, PE is
1,500 is just PE. There's no KE. KE is 0 there. So 1,500 equals KE.
I know, but it has to be like total. So that's
But then there's no potential
So-
energy because it's on the ground.
Yeah.
With the
That's what I'm
initial
saying.
launch,
Okay, cool. So 1,500.
31 meters per second, give or
it's on the
take,
ground.
100 meters.
It is.
Or
That's what-
look at
at the
it
end?
just
Yeah.
starting, barely moving at the top, 150 meters. Either way, what do you get as the
But we're assuming
energy or
for the purpose of this
velocity
problem.
bottom? Did everybody get that PowerPoint?
It's the square root of 3,000.
Okay. Is that the square root of 3,000?
We got this 10 times the square root of
Okay.
30.
So now, you're in the Lunar Amusement Safety Bureau. And you're going around and you've got your little matchbox speed gun and you're going to see just how fast those things across the line. You've been told that, sure, you could go 55, but maybe that's not safe on them, and they don't have the proper restraints in there. And you put your speed gun on it, and it turns out it wasn't perfectly frictionless. You measure a final speed of...
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it.
It was 30 meters per second. So the ride passes inspection, but now the owners are going, crap, where did we lose all that energy? So we have no longer conserved energy, and I want to know what fraction of our initial mechanical energy was lost, not worrying where along the track or when, but just what fraction of our initial energy was dissipated by the ride. If our final speed as we cross the finish line isn't 55, but it's 30. Calculate that and then I'll turn you guys loose.
Okay. Can we just do like the second one, the first one? Actually. Wait, 54.8. No, that wouldn't work because it's like all the thing where it's like, oh, and all of a sudden it's twice as much, 4 times as much.
Okay.
Can I
Wait, hold up. Can we like factor, like do something like Ellie or lost energy?
I think we can just subtract. I think we can just
Because if I
subtract.
set an amount, you would
Let's just subtract.
If I said fraction.
What was the 10x energy?
That's what I'm trying to find out. Give me the penny answer. Shut up. Well, at the end, the kinetic energy.
If I had asked you
Mass.
for an amount
Velocity's great.
instead of a fraction,
Our velocity's not 30.
could you do it?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, it actually was.
If I had asked you for an actual amount, a number of joules instead of a fraction, could you do this problem?
No.
No. What would you need to know? So we'll leave it as a fraction. It's still doable.
So that the kinetic. Okay, sure. No, you're gonna break my pencil. It's weak.
Okay.
Let's see if that's a thing. Do you agree or no?
Wait, did you
In
mean to the
engineering
same?
last year, Jack, for a project, they came up with what they called the Parkinson's pen. For a person who had some sort of involuntary shake, they tried to find a bit of inertia and restraints like that. And I thought that's maybe what you were doing.
I have a normal hand. It's a healthy hand.
Let's
All
compare,
right.
actually.
What fraction
That-
was lost? Anybody have this?
70%.
Really? You guys are going to be fired from the Lunar Amusement Safety Commission?
I don't like this number.
And you've barely begun your working career.
It's just,
Goodness.
there's better business in Mars.
Yeah, but you won't get that job on Mars if you failed out on the moon. All right. How would you go about this? What?
I got 70%.
That would imply you actually worked and built up a pension stuff first. If you want your name with a plaque on the wall here,
Oh, fraction.
what would be for that? All right. They want to send people back now. It's kind of our private government joint venture.
Do you agree?
Anyway.
Do you agree with this?
Any ideas from this table? Okay. All right. And so energy Oh, you were so close. This isn't the fraction lost, this is the fraction remaining. Just do 1 minus it. Sorry? So, you did this 1 minus this, and you got 0.7. Well, think of the original run. By the time you get to the end, you're not really moving all that fast, right? They have to slow you down a little bit. So you probably have dissipated most of the run. And we just made up these numbers. I don't think I think that's coming in pretty fast, but then they maybe had some cushion or whatever to suck the last bit out. Well, look at it this way. Look at it this way. If this had been 25 and this had been 50, half the speed is a quarter of the energy. That would have been 75%. So, I get the right for the numbers that we chose. All right. How many of you are in good shape to turn in your simulation lab tonight? Okay. How many of you have dropped your medicine ball so at least you have your data for the consultation lab? All right. Show of hands. Who needs to drop the ball still? That's the only thing I think is essential that happened right now. And then just keep track of and get your camera out or your phone out there, Alex, and do this chart down. You guys can work on whatever suits.
Whatever suits me.
Okay, worst case scenario. Worst case scenario.
Worst.
If after the momentum retake, you still hadn't dropped the medicine ball you could, but the labs do that night. So I wouldn't recommend waiting till the last one. I try to get that. It only takes like 5 minutes.